Top world news to tell you about this morning. The U.S. military says 4 American service members have been killed in an attack in East Afghanistan. Meanwhile, security forces in Pakistan have killed more than 140 militants in the Khyber tribal area that borders Afghanistan. The week-long operation targeted groups linked to the Taliban along the main supply road between Pakistan and Afghanistan. And NATO now acknowledges for the first time that Afghan civilians were indeed killed last week in a German-ordered airstrike on 2 stolen fuel tankers. Commanders originally believed that the tankers were surrounded only by Taliban insurgents, but a review by NATO-led forces shows civilians had been killed and injured in that strike. Well, a recount has been ordered in Afghanistan's August 20th election, and covering that story for us, Jim Rupert is live on the phone from neighboring New Delhi. Jim, big developments this morning. Hamid Karzai having won 54% of the vote. Can we declare him the winner of the presidential election?
Not yet, as it turns out. Afghanistan's election authority says its official count now shows Karzai winning re-election with 91.6% of the vote counted. Karzai is now at 54%. This is the first time the partial count has shown him over the 50% threshold that he needs to win a first-round victory. But the election authority concedes, and a separate commission called the Electoral Complaints Commission, which is a combined of Afghan and international officials, says that there will have to be a recount because the evidence of fraud in the voting is too clear to do otherwise.
So how does that affect a recount? And if a recount happens, what does that mean in terms of stability?
Well, a recount is very likely to reduce the margin shown in the official count here. The Electoral Complaints Commission, that's headed by a Canadian elections specialist, said earlier today that it had found fraud in several provinces where Karzai has gotten a big vote. They said they found a lot of evidence, clear and convincing evidence, they said, of ballot stuffing by Karzai's supporters. And so they've ordered a recount and an examination of those ballots with a view to throwing them out. And it can order a revote in some areas if it chooses. So this is not at all final, and it's going to take weeks longer to resolve.
Well, the Obama administration has made Afghanistan a priority in terms of foreign policy. If this announcement's official, if Karzai does indeed have a second term ahead of him, what's the expectation in terms of violence and whether or not the U.S. will become further involved?
There are really a couple of issues. One is there is a worry about the potential for violence. Happily, it hasn't happened yet, but Karzai is from the south. He's an ethnic Pashtun. His main rival, former Foreign Minister Abdullah, has most of his support in the non-Pashtun areas of the north, notably with the Tajik ethnic group. And there have been tensions. This is the oldest and toughest ethnic divide in Afghanistan. It's caused violence in the past. There are worries that it could do so again in the contest between these two men if either side feels as though it's been very wrongly dealt with in the process. Abdullah has insisted that there has to be a recount and a correction of these figures.
All right. Thank you so much, Bloomberg's James Rupert, who's been covering the election in Afghanistan for us here at Bloomberg. Thanks so much, Jim.